Today I'm going to go over my earnings as a real estate agent in 2021, so stay tuned. Let's go. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all having an incredible day. If you don't know, my name is Aram. I'm a real estate agent here in the Chicagoland area. And if you enjoyed this video, you like the transparency, this is the type of content you enjoy, I upload twice a week. Please hit the like button. Leave a comment with your thoughts, feedback, comments, concerns. Every single one of those will get a reply. And of course, subscribe for more content like this. As you saw from the title, today we are talking about my earnings as a real estate agent in year 2021. I make these recap videos every single year about my career, how much we've developed, how much we haven't developed, if you saw the last couple of recaps. And I'm super excited about this video specifically because it's finally the end of the year and I can share with you guys all the progress we made from the last recap video, which wasn't that enjoyable for me to make. This one's different because I had a goal to make 6 figures last year. I didn't hit it. However, this is a new year and we went way past that. I'm gonna get into the details in a second. And I'm gonna make this video like this, okay? I'm gonna tell you exactly how many transactions I did, where I got those transactions, my gross, and then the amount in production, and then what I took home, my net income as a real estate agent in 2021. I'm not going to skip a single detail because as a real estate agent, I've seen these videos millions and millions of times and people never answer it the way I want them to answer it. I don't necessarily care that you closed 30 deals. I care how did you close them, right? Were they listings? Were they buyers? Were they referrals? Did you cold call? Like, how did you get the business? Because that's what we're all struggling with every single day, me included. So I wanna make sure that I do not leave you guys hanging and I address that. So every single transaction, I'm gonna tell you where it came from, how long I've been working with the individual, a little bit of a background so you guys know where everything is coming from. Now, a little bit of a background so we're all on the same page here. December 25th of 2019, I made a video saying how I'm gonna make $100,000 in year 2020. Well, year 2020 came and went, and I had to expose myself and share with you guys how I did not make $100,000 that year. To be honest with you, I don't remember how much I made. I think it was in the 60s or 50s, it may have been $57,000. Like, it wasn't that much, right? And it was very disappointing. And I always share my failures with you as much as I can because I think that's where we learn. And I have been through some tough times. I've been in this game for almost 5 years. I'm in my 5th year right now. March 1st will be my anniversary date to conclude it. But I just want to show that if you're patient with it and you just survive long enough, you will thrive because this has been in my breakout year. And it could have happened sooner if I didn't make some of the, age-old mistakes that I kept on making. But, finally I buckled down, I got everything right. And then towards the end of the video, I'll explain exactly what those things were. Now, you've waited long enough. Let's get down to brass tacks, shall we? So, year 2021, I closed 26 transactions, which was $7.5,043,400 worth of real estate. That grossed $172,000. Oh my God. That grossed $172,875.38. I'm reading it straight from my computer. I'll even show a screenshot so nobody thinks I'm lying. Deductions. These are my splits and then any other insurance fees I have to pay, errors and emissions insurance. Any of those office fees, transaction fees they charge. I paid $34,584.26 in deductions or let's call it splits and fees. And then my net income, exactly $138,291.12. Damn. That is incredible. So the goal was $100,000 for this year. Around August, I realized, you know what? I think we're going to blow past the $100,000 very easily. So let me push myself. And I wrote down on my board, you guys have seen in the vlogs, $125,000 net income. So as you read from that, we have obviously, surpassed that. And I am so proud of myself. And I have to kind of give my flowers here for a second because damn it, there has been some tough times, ladies and gentlemen. I have been down but not out. I have been down but not out. And it's just an incredible feeling to know that you could do it in your head, but it just doesn't feel real until you actually do it. And for me, I don't come from money. So this $138,000 is the most money I've ever made in my entire life. It's the most money I've ever seen in my account in my entire life. Everything just came together at the same time, and dare I say, it came at the perfect time. So if you're out there struggling, you're in year 1, year 2, year 3, I make these videos to show you that you don't have to, most of us are in this boat where we don't really make a lot of money the first few years, but eventually it all comes together and we explode because we never quit trying, right? You may watch a YouTube video where it says, you know what, guy, kills it and sells like 300 houses within 2 years. That's not the norm. I hate to break it to you guys. The average agent is selling 3 to 6 houses a year. That's the average agent, right? And on YouTube, you're seeing the 0.1% of agents, and you're trying to compare yourself to them like I was, and it could be so discouraging, right? Once I got out of my own head and I just focused on, doing the things that I enjoy that's going to get me business, that's when everything took off. All right, so I may be rambling off in this video a little bit, but you know what? I can't help myself. This is one of those emotional videos. I have no plot line. I'm just going to basically speak from the heart and then go from there. All right, so the first closing of the year was a condo for $155,000, and that was a client I had met 3 years prior to our closing date. Just think of that. 3 years prior to my closing date. So if I had quit the business, that's one closing I would not have had. And I got this client from a Facebook video I posted in like a Facebook group. Again, 3 years ago that had like maybe 60 views. So less than a day is never underestimated, even a single view, because that is an individual who saw you doing your craft, explaining something real estate related, and that is how you get business, ladies and gentlemen. This individual saw a video I made about tax exemptions or something like that, and he just literally picked up the phone and called me and said, hey, I have a condo I'd like to sell. I got some questions. We met up. He wasn't ready to sell. 2 years later, we tried to put it on the market, didn't work out. Then, he reached out to me, put it on the market, we were able to sell it. And I just basically, I maintained that connection. Never let a connection go to waste, because you will see a pattern into all these closings and how everything came together at once. Second closing of the year was actually a friend of mine who I met through networking, who you could say is my sphere of influence. This was the second deal he did with me, so it was a repeat client. He bought an $87,500 condo as an investment that I had found for him, and it ended up being a phenomenal deal. Bought it basically below market and just renovated, rented, and it appraised for so much that he got his entire investment back and then some. Deal 3 of the year was my father, so you could say sphere of influence, friends and family. That's where a lot of your business will be coming from as well, as long as you tap into it. Deal number 4, funny enough, was a referral from a client who was referred to me earlier that year, right? So basically, one of my deals that closed for $465,000 was referred to me by just an acquaintance I had met years ago. I connected with him on social media simply by following with him and just engaging with his story. And he saw my content day in and day out. So when time came for one of his friends to buy a home, he basically referred them to me, and that individual became a great friend and a great resource. So he bought a $465,000 building with me, who was an investor, and then he referred me to his friend who bought a $195,000 townhouse with me as well. Then deal number 5 now, came from years ago when I was first year in the business. I showed this couple a bunch of houses on behalf of another agent, right? And I never tried to take the business. I basically showed them and I never messaged them again. But years later, that client and the agent had a falling out. So they reached out to me because they enjoyed the way I worked. I was always on time. I showed them everything they needed to show, and they just saw me hustling from a young age. And they said, you know what, we like the way you work and we like to work with you, right? So that goes to show you really never know where the deal is coming from. So as long as you are hustling, taking action, doing something, the money will come. Deal number 6, funny enough, was the first closing I had. That contact that saw a Facebook video reached out to me. I met 3 years ago. He referred me his mother-in-law, and I sold their condo, so that was one of my listings. Deal number 7 was my cousin. So again, friends and family. That was $395. I don't think you guys care much about the prices, but that's what that was. The next deal was basically another referral from my sphere of influence that I achieved from networking and just basically This is actually a friend I play poker with, right? He saw me at all the poker nights. I had sold houses to other people. Bada boom, bada bing. He reached out to me when he was ready to buy. Moving on, the next deal was actually for myself, and I referred myself to myself, but we're still counting that because it was a check. Then we have another repeat client who I initially sold him a house last year in 2020. I sold him a house, and I met him when I was showing one of his friends a house. His friend never bought, but I recognized that that guy was serious about, doing real estate, and he has my number, and he reached out to me when he was ready to buy. So I sold him a house in 2020. Then in 2021, he said, I don't like this house anymore. I want to move out to a different area. So I sold his home. So that was one of the deals. And then I helped them buy a home. So that's 2 transactions from that one individual this year. Then I got a client from TikTok, and that was a closing for $162,000. Literally 100% from social media. Never met the individual before, but we made a great connection. It was a great time, and we closed that deal, and that was it. The next deal was a referral from an agent in Michigan who just saw me on social media, saw that I was hustling, getting things done, and they referred me business because Michigan and Chicago people go back and forth all the time. So that was incredible. Then we have another one that was a referral from our friends and family. Again, sphere of influence. You guys seeing a pattern here where I'm not necessarily working so hard to generate business the old-fashioned way, but a lot of business is coming, quote, the old-fashioned way, simply by me hanging out with as many friends, networking, and just going to events. That client, I've been helping him find a house for 2 years. So that goes to show, never lose faith. As long as the clients aren't being outrageous and they're reasonable people to work with, hang in there with them, guys. Hang in there with them. Then moving on was a house that I sold to my cousin's employee, right? So basically another referral from my network. Your network is your net worth. God, I honestly didn't know how many of these deals came from my sphere of influence. That is wild, which is why I kind of enjoy doing this video, right? And this house that I sold to my buyer was a for sale by owner I previewed back when I was doing for sale by owner domination. Can you believe it? Same house. I had met the seller. I knew everything about the house. I said, hey, this is the house you got to buy. Clients love it. That was a $411,000 sale. We have a referral from another agent, which is why I keep telling everybody having good relationships with other agents will be beneficial to you. This individual agent, I knew him in the area. He had moved down to Florida. He simply could not do the showings anymore. So he said, hey, just give me a good referral fee and then I'll let you have the deal. I said, no problem. Next one was 100% from TikTok. They watched some of my content, reached out to me. We closed in about 4 months. $409,000 sale. The next one was a listing in Chicago for $120,000. Sold that bad boy in about 3 days, and it was one of my poker buddies, so back to sphere of influence. Then we have another one that was, again, sphere of influence. It was a friend from high school, but we weren't really that well connected. However, they're friends with a friend. Long story short, they need a real estate agent, and they thought of me. See, networking, sphere of influence, and it's just all putting everything together is the key ingredient, right? You can't just do social media. You have to network, get your network on social media, and then just stay connected, right? Be as in many places as you can because that's where your business is gonna grow. Then I sold one of my buyers' homes, so I helped them buy a home and helped them sell a home. Then another one came from actually one of you guys, you fellow subscribers, reached out to me. This individual was on the way to getting his license but had a property to sell. So I basically listed and sold that. Then I listed and sold one of my investors' homes, which I sold them the building last year. I helped them get the property renovated, fully rented out, increase the value, and then I helped them sell it. So this is why having great relationships with investors is so important. And you have to make sure that you give them good deals because whatever you help an investor buy, they will hire you to sell one day. So help them find something that's easy to sell. Word of advice to you, all right? Then we have another closing that was an agent referral, and one closing that was, again, a referral from a past client, and then one that was an office lead that I sold for $430,000. It was across the street. Literally, I was in the office. It's one of the reasons why I say it's very important to not have a cloud brokerage, to physically be here and establish connections because those calls come in, and that was over $12,000 paycheck that came in. Now, that was the gross figure, not the net figure, but imagine if I wasn't here. Imagine if I wasn't here. I would have missed out on that sale, right? But I was. So if you're a new agent, spend as much time in the office as you can. Get your work done. If you're going to watch Netflix at home, watch Netflix in the office. You never know what's going to go your way. So that's about the gist of it, ladies and gentlemen. Those were 26 transactions. Some were clients I've had for years that just weren't ready to buy, and then they finally, everything clicked at once and transactions started to happen. And if you saw a pattern, yes, there was a few deals here that came from social media directly where they never knew me. But a lot of these individuals, they already knew me. Social media helped me stay in front of them for when they were ready, and then they reached out to me. So when you can learn to mix your network with social media and just put them together, you could be everywhere at once. So that's where all my deals came from, and this is actually weird for me to look at. Literally most of my deals came in referrals, which is wild. So that concludes the video for today. I will end it on a little motivational note. Last year when I didn't hit the goal, I basically just passed the 50% mark. It was like 57K. I was honestly embarrassed and ashamed of myself. And I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do it. In my head, I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do it. But I said, you know what? I stopped thinking and I started doing. And the biggest change in my business was, number one, I was in business long enough, right? Those 4 years that I wasn't succeeding, I was still networking. I was still establishing connections. So I didn't know all the future deals that were coming my way from the work I did those initial 4 years, right? So I overlooked that completely. And I still overlook that. But it's something I'm working on, right? So that's one thing. And the second reason why I think I had so much success this year was because I made a shift in how I generate business. If you guys saw, for 4 years, I was basically jumping on this boat, then that boat, then this boat, and that boat, and I had a little bit of success in everything, but it never really held on because I wasn't consistent. And I wasn't consistent because I was doing things I hate. So as soon as I got enough business where I didn't need to do those things that I hate, like cold calling, open houses, or that's really all I did. Cold calling, open houses, or any stupid things like that I really did enjoy, like FISBOs, expireds, all that. As soon as I made enough money where I didn't have to do all that, I stopped, right? And that's when your business literally comes to a standstill and you have to reset the cycle all over again. You're like, oh, whatever I'm doing isn't working, etc. It's a rabbit hole you don't want to go down it, right? So what changed the business model for me is I said, you know what, look, there's several ways to generate business. What is the method that comes most natural to me that I enjoy doing the most? And it took me about maybe 3 seconds that I love being on camera. I love social media. I love just, getting traffic, marketing. I love everything about that. So I said, you know what? Stop wasting 2 hours a day cold calling. Even though if you have the free time, let's not waste it cold calling. Let's waste it brainstorming for content ideas. Making some random TikToks that they may blow up or they may not blow up. You never know, right? And because I enjoyed it so much, when my business exploded, I somehow found time to still make content. And that content that I kept making allowed me to stay in front of all these referrals that I kept getting, right? And it was just a domino effect. And I was able to do it consistently, and I never stopped. And I still haven't stopped. No matter what happens throughout my day, I find time to make content and get it up there for everybody to see and just get my name out there. And since then, I think my following for TikTok is just at 32,000 right now. I've had several videos go over 1 million views, a bunch over 10,000, and a whole bunch over 200K, something like that. So it's been a lot of traffic on TikTok. My Instagram grew by like 2,000-3,000 followers. YouTube, the same. I think we got like 5,000 followers just this year, right? So once I focused on doing what comes naturally to me, I was able to do it much longer. And the longer you do it, the more consistent you are, the more success you will have. So that is the message that I will leave you all with. So I hope you found this video inspirational. I hope it was very helpful for you. I tried to be as transparent and helpful as I could be. I don't want to come off as like braggadocious, because I do understand that even though to me 138,000 is a lot of money, in the grand scheme of things, I am still on like the bottom of the barrel and I'm working my way up. So I'm trying to remain like hungry, right? Just because it's my goal doesn't mean it's the end all be all. So that being said, I will make another video where I talk about my goals for 2023. There's going to be a huge shift in how we do things for the next 5 years, because I'm getting a little bit older and I got a lot of things going on in my life, right? So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you on the next one.